You guys ready to roll?
Yep.
Okay. Well, welcome to another episode of the Essay Voice podcast. Thank you so much for joining me again. As always, we have the lovely Elle. How are you doing today?
Hi, Leighton. I'm doing well. It's beautiful outside, so it's been a good day.
It is gorgeous. Awesome. And we have our guest of honor, Brian Foley. He is the manager of accounting for the Student Association here in Kingston. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you again, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I love your humor, Leighton. Guest of honor.
Guest of honor.
It's true.
Yeah, it absolutely is true. It's so good to see you again. First of all, tell us how you and your family are doing and how are things going on in Gananoque right now?
We miss going to work. We miss the school, right? Like everybody else. It's going as good as it can be, right? You know, considering everything going on, right? My situation is probably similar to a lot of people that are around my age that have children and working and etc. And my wife works and I work, and we don't have at this point daycare coverage, etc. So it makes it challenging. But on the positive side, we're spending a lot of time with our 2 and 4-year-old, which these are like crucial years. So if we were kind of like at work and in the grind, like we kind of slowed our life down a little bit to see how they're developing and what, just taking those special moments, right? So that's definitely a positive to the whole thing, if there is some positives to it. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell. I kind of know my home a lot. You're used to going, and I think society is used to going, right? Like we're used to going somewhere and being there and then coming home and then scrambling and going somewhere else, or catching this and catching that. So in some respects, everything is kind of slowed down a bit. Yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely agree with that. I think I didn't realize how much movement I did and how many things I did during the day. Just self-reflecting, I was like, I realized I would never be home until like 6 o'clock at night, sometimes later. So it is interesting to just be in one place in your household and with your family and everything like that. And definitely working from home is a big switch. Brian, what would you say was the hardest part about working virtually? And then also, what do you think is the easiest for you?
I definitely, like, the hardest part is like the one-on-ones, and like my office normally is just everybody's in my office. It's like a drive-through, really. So having the one-on-one experience is definitely been the hardest. But I was kind of adjusted to this a little bit beforehand, because the working relationship I had was that I did work one day a week at home. So before this all started, um, there was one day, I think it was Wednesdays, that I was at home, uh, and it was just part of the the agreement that I had with our executive director, that I could work one day from home and take care of the kids at the same time. So, but I wasn't prepared to do full all the time at home, which was just, it is a complete change. You know,
Has there been a part of it that's been easier for you?
um, I think I was already kind of used to like the work and the setup of it, because I'd already got a printer and all the stuff in my office was already set up. So that part of it was um, easy. I think the internet has been a challenge too, like um, trying to ensure a good connection so that we could continue on with the meetings, etc., and email, etc. The biggest challenge in my position has been taking everything that was non-electronic and making it electronic. So I haven't had to like write one check since I've been here, and that's kind of, the old bookkeeping complexities of our job, right, as checks. So everything is virtually electronic now. So we've completely changed it over. You know, if this goes back to where we can say there's no COVID, all I need is my laptop, and I can virtually do anything that I need to do in my office here or there or anywhere else, right? So that's been a big fundamental shift in,
Yeah,
how we
I
operate, right?
I agree. I think you're going to see a massive shift in the workplace in society. Brian, do you think that this stay-at-home, work-from-home model is here to stay, or do you think that organizations, industries will kind of go back to the way they were in February, or do you think a large part of the population is working from home forever now?
I think it's definitely an option for everybody that has this, that they don't physically need to be in a work setting to perform their job. I definitely think that's, but I don't know if it's gonna stick for the long term. Um, Actually, I think maybe like 20-25% of staffing will have that option in their business settings. Um, but it might be a challenge um, to to manage it long term. It was okay like part time, right? But if your setting is like where we work, you know, the students value the interaction, right? That's kind of the core of it. You know, we can try our best, but if you experience it, they love um, that take on 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 it, right? So um, I think, like the last note on this, I think that people will scale down their operations, and sadly, the number of people that work for organizations because they have this venue now, and maybe you don't need 10 people. Maybe you can do the same thing with 8 people, and 3 or 4 of them are at home, and maybe there's some efficiencies to that we're just not seeing yet.
No,
And that
absolutely.
would
I
be,
agree.
I don't know, that's just what I'm thinking, right, just the top of my head, how this is kind of playing out. I mean, it's definitely changed how everybody, you know, because we had to, right? You
Yeah.
know, can you make your job work at home to have your job,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Mhm.
you know, people are scrambling, right? So, um, yeah,
Yeah,
good
I think you're
question.
definitely right. I mean, in our circumstance, I wouldn't see us continuing to work from home, like you said, just because you're losing some of that value that we provide and that we receive out of these job positions. But in some other places, they might. You never know. It seems like there's this whole quote of new normal that's going around, so you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, from a financial perspective, it totally makes sense for companies to streamline that and to kind of consolidate those. So that's why you can see bigger corporations such as Spotify, they announced a stay-at-home kind of work option for the rest of time, for the rest of their existence as a company. So I think you're going to see more and more shift to that. So it's definitely something to keep in mind on for sure. Um, Brian, how do you limit distractions when you're home? I know you got the family and the wife and the kids there, but is there a certain way that you can just kind of lock down for an hour and two and get some work done? I know some of us have definitely had some struggles. Is there anything you can share with us?
Um, it's definitely challenging right now for me, anyways. I it's like on one hand I'm the daddy daycare, and the other hand I'm working, you know, for the student association and St. Larry's Pub, etc. Um, but if I can kind of schedule their day in their morning, and then if they can have some naps in the afternoon, which is good, then that's how I focus in. If they're obviously having a rough day, that throws the schedule right off, and you can't predict how each day goes. usually what I'll do is after the kids are asleep is when I can kind of like just delve into the hard things, right, that need to be dealt with. But I honestly don't have a magic solution to this. It is kind of like some people have more focus when they are actually at work with other people,
Yeah.
and there is a level of that I can see as this goes further and further and further. That yes, you're more engaged if we're all together a certain extent, right? Not all the time, right? I mean, when I was at work, there'd be times I just shut the door and like I need to focus, but you feel that kind of that connection, and you're able to move forward with it. So that is one thing that's kind of missing, regarding this whole thing, right? So, um, yeah, I don't know if that completely answers your question,
No,
but
good. Yeah.
No, it's definitely
you
a good answer. I don't think there's a right way to answer that question because
Yeah.
everyone's different, right? So Brian, I want to ask you this question. I'm going to reword it a little bit. What skill do you think is most important for every single person to learn, whether they're in our kind of profession or in like they're wanting to enter the business world or something like that? What is one skill that you think everyone should have?
I think I learned the most in doing anything when I was just kind of listening. Yeah, I don't know if that's the skill set, but just being able to slow it down, listen to what other people are saying and doing. Um, it's so crucial. I think that's where, for me anyways, I picked up most of my skills, whether it's looking at auditing or tax or accounting or bookkeeping, or just fundamentally just having chats with people and um, listening to what other people what they did. And I mean, it's so crucial just for the students, right? Because a lot of time they're so busy. You want to be able to just listen to them, even if it's like for 5 minutes. They might have a problem they're not telling anybody, and you're like maybe the one person they see in the day that they're comfortable with saying something to. But yeah, that's what I would say for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a good one. And I can definitely say that working with yourself and Beth and everyone else, listening and learning from that is like a very big part of the position. Like there's a lot of times I don't know what I'm doing, and it's easy for me to listen and learn from you all. So that's good.
Yeah, definitely agree.
There's
Listening.
There's lots of times I don't know what I'm doing, and I need to slow it down to everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not always privy to every conversation or every plan, right? So I kind of see it at the end sometimes, and I'm like, okay, well, what was this about? Why are we doing this? Instead of saying like, we can't do this, I need to listen and what was it about? How did it start? What are you trying to execute? Like if we can't do it one way, let's do it another way, kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. Going on that, Brian, if you could learn any new professional skill, what would it be and why? Would it be public speaking? Would it be financial wizard? Is there something that you think is maybe missing from your repertoire that you would love to know like that?
He already is a financial wizard.
Yes, sorry. Yes, throwing that out there. More of a financial wizard, a financial god. How about that?
Yeah, I don't know if there's actually one particular thing. I think just kind of obviously like the technical side of all this, I want to keep learning, and how I can adapt as everything's changing, right? So Um, the accounting skills are great, but that's just one piece of the puzzle, right? So if I can learn from everybody else, or take on some new training that would help, that would be good. I mean, um, yeah, I don't think there's any one particular thing. I think it's just being able to learn as everything moves along.
Adaptable.
Yeah.
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 There you
Oh,
go.
that's fun. So I think we'll get into more of the fun questions now.
Yeah.
So Brian, what is your favorite tradition or holiday?
Hmm. Well, I'd have to say Christmas. I like Christmas.
Yeah.
So, I
That's a
mean, we got the
go-to.
boys now, so they're just so excited about it, and their enthusiasm just brings everything out. So, yeah, totally Christmas time.
Yeah. Do you enjoy like the lights and the snow and everything like that?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We want to put Christmas lights around our whole house this year.
Oh, good
So
luck.
it's a little
Hydro
ambitious,
bill.
but yeah, I think I mean, Santa's going to see where we're living.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah.
Like
I
from
think it's,
space? Like you going that and
yeah,
ambitious?
yeah. We're gonna be on the radar.
I love
That's
it.
awesome.
So,
Does GAN have like a street? Because I know there's quite a few in Kingston, but does GAN have like a street or a couple streets where like every single person has Christmas lights?
um, I think it's more scattered, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I do think it's more scattered. I
Mhm.
know they do have a parade like all the towns do, but definitely, yeah, it's more scattered for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but
Maybe you'll encourage your neighbors to.
yeah, yeah. Once we get going,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's good. Thanks for that answer. I think Christmas is close to a lot of people's hearts here in North America. So I would have to say that as well for sure. I have another one to throw at you that might be a brain teaser, Brian. Let's
Okay,
say
yeah.
you invented a time machine. Would you go back in time or would you go to the future, and why? Back in time or to the future?
And when would you go to?
Back,
Yeah.
I think I go back in time. Like I'm kind of an old soul, so I think I just go back to like the 50s or something and just check it out. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
It's a
I
tough
don't
one.
know, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
We like
Brian,
we like that. Yeah, we like to ask our guests that. It's a good thought-provoking one and kind of gives us an idea of what they like to think and what kind of era they're attracted to. So I know a few of us have said the 40s, 50s, 60s, just that transformational time in society. It's really cool. So you're not the only one to answer that. So good answer for sure.
okay, yeah,
I think if I had a
good.
time machine, I would not be the president of the SA anymore and I would have a lot of money.
Yeah, go back and invest in Amazon or something, eh? Or Bitcoin.
Or I'd just sell the time machine to the government or something.
Oh, there you go. Right. There you go.
Yeah, we're just calling you a billionaire, Al.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
But it'll be a secret. No one will know why because I won't be allowed to tell the world that there's a time machine.
No.
You could be a billionaire now, and we wouldn't know it.
It's true.
Exactly.
Maybe I am.
Right?
Hit up L for your loans. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have very high interest rates.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm a billionaire.
Mm, true.
So Brian, what is your favorite meal to cook and why?
Hmm.
If you cook. If you don't cook, it's fine.
Favorite meal to eat?
Yeah, I like I honestly just good chicken and veggies and some um, potatoes to go with it, kind of like oiled up, I guess, and sour cream, and yeah, like that's just a good little meal for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Classic.
yeah, just done right and keep trucking.
Mm.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite preferred style of chicken? Baked, barbecued, sauteed, anything like that?
The barbecue is good. Yeah, yeah, barbecue is good.
Nice. Mhm.
Yeah.
Is there a certain meal that you like make for your kids, or do they just eat the same thing as whatever you're cooking for dinner?
Um, they're kind of they're kind of more picky, I guess you'd say. Like certain things they'll eat. I mean, it's hard to get vegetables into any kid, right?
Mhm.
Unless you doll it up. So they like spaghetti. So, and the nice thing about spaghetti is you can kind of like steam up vegetables
Mhm.
and chop them up, and you can hide them in the sauce,
Yeah.
and they don't even know what's going there, and they're getting what they need. So quite often we'll do
Mhm.
that. Um,
That's smart, actually.
Yeah.
you know, cauliflower, carrots, stuff like that. Just
Mhm. Sneak it in
yeah,
there.
You have
Nice.
sneak it
kids,
in there.
take
You got to be
notes. Yeah.
sneaky. Yeah, you
Sneaky.
got to be sneaky because they're smart. But you want them to be smart, right?
Hey,
So
Mhm.
that's
yeah,
good. Thank you for sharing that. We have a couple more questions here for you. Um,
okay.
Brian, if you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would it be and why?
Um, Basically anywhere in Canada. I just love Canada. I mean, I'd love to go out and just Alberta. I'd like to live out there near the mountains or something, and
Mhm.
kind of in between. Like um, Calgary, Red Deer, somewhere out there where it's just you kind of get the feel of the mountains, but then the farmland too. I don't know. Canada's just so beautiful, and
Mhm.
this whole everything that's going on just kind of echoes what a great country we have, and what, all the beautiful elements there are to it, whether it's east or west or central. So um, yeah, I think out west would be pretty cool to live for a year. Just
Yeah.
you know,
Were you born and raised like Kingston, Gan area?
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Gilnockway, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So
Well, I
You're
know
definitely right. It was beautiful.
I know Elle's a West Coaster, and I was born in
Yeah.
Banff, so you're speaking our language there. West is best, I think, for sure.
it's
West
just
Coast is best coast.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What's not to love out there? Like
Yeah, you got
Cost
the
of living.
mountains.
mm, but it is pretty nice here too. So
Yeah. No, and
I
I
mean, you
will
can't.
say Kingston and Gan is very beautiful, very great places to live in. Gan is really, really beautiful, especially in the summertime. I like to drive through.
Well,
Yeah, and
absolutely.
we have so many things that we just take for granted. Clean water and all the stuff that you don't think about in the trees and the trails and just great.
Yeah. No, you're definitely right, Brian.
For sure.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Awesome. Elle, I think there's one more left for you there.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Brian, we'll end off on this note. This one might throw you a little
Okay.
bit. What
Okay.
is one thing that we don't know about you, Brian? Because we've worked with you for quite some time now. I think Leighton just hit his year today, so.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Uh, let's see. One thing you don't. I I like in my spare time. I like kind of working on things that you wouldn't normally think I work on, like changing a set of brakes on a car,
Nice.
or something like that, or kind of more working with my hands, that kind of stuff. So um, I definitely like on my days off to be outside doing things, whether it's making something look better or um, that type of of thing. When I was going through high school, I was trying to decide whether I was going to be an auto mechanic or go into accounting.
Oh, wow.
And it was kind of a pivotal point because I love going to shop class and etc. And doing those things, but I also love the numbers and um, how accounting and all these procedures go into play and how you can everything comes together, right? Like your business elements, right? So, but I think we made the right path, right decision, because it isn't a day that I don't go by that I don't love what I'm doing, kind of thing. So, and that's key for anybody, right? Like you got to love. There's got to be an element where you love what you're doing, even on the worst day,
Yeah.
right? So if you have that love for whatever it is, it's just going to take you right through, um, you know. So.
Hmm. No,
Yeah,
I
so
think
that's
that's
one
Yeah.
thing.
it's definitely a really good
You know,
sentiment, and thank you for that. And I definitely did not know that you were handyman Brian.
Handyman Brian, I
In
love it.
cars.
well, yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but I'm just saying I like to do those things.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's farther than I would go, so
Yeah.
you're a handyman to me.
Handyman Brian.
yeah,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Brian, thank you so much for your time and making yourself available today. It's been awesome to catch up and see your face again, hear that you and the family are doing well. And hopefully we'll have you back on here in another month or two. But thanks for right now. We really appreciate it. And stay healthy and stay safe.
Yeah, thanks,
okay.
Brian.
Well, thanks, guys. You guys rock. Keep it up. You're doing a great job.
Great.
Thanks, Brian.
Al, thank you as
Okay.
always for joining us. And Brian, take care. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye, guys.